Welcome everyone. In this webinar, describe your application and let Copilot design it. This is a webinar where we actually going to introduce you into the Copilot inside of Microsoft Power Apps. In that reason, we're going to have the following agenda. We're going to give you an introduction on low code, then we're going to give you an introduction on Microsoft Power Platform Power Apps, and then my colleague Bas will actually give a demo of all of the features that I will discuss, Anne, in the slides. And we have room for Q&A, so please actually use the chat to actually do questions and we will answer them if possible in this one as well. I get the message that there is no sound onto that one, so if the people in the back can actually look at it, that would be cool, because otherwise you'll see me constantly on mute, which is probably not the wisest thing to do. Okay, for others it works, so I will continue onto that one. And we'll continue with a low-code introduction for you guys. And the low-code introduction will start basically with a generative AI introduction, where we see that generative AI is here to stay and is there to actually use. Where mobile phones took 16 years to actually overcome, and I'm of an age that I actually started with a mobile phone. After those kind of things, I started working with the internet and with Facebook. So I'm a real boomer, as my kids would say, and I start to work with ChatGPT the minute it became available, and you see that it actually got 100 million users within 3 months. That's there to stay, and we need to do that one. That's one trend we need to address, and we need to address also with low code. The other trend we need to address is basically the app gap. We're gonna create more and more applications. We see that one as software is really eating the world today, so we need to actually do that one. And the next phase is that generative AI will eat the world today. When I started actually working for a company, a simple ISV, we celebrated the day that we actually had 1 million lines of code in our app. Today your car has at least 10 million lines of code in it. So basically your car you could actually see as a driving data center for that matter. And it will become more and more. That also lays a constraint on the amount of developers, the pro-code developers we have. So we need to address that amount. So we're not only competing with our normal competitors that we got, but we're also competing with all of the car manufacturers for basically people, resources to develop code, to develop applications. So we need to address that gap. That's the place where low code comes in onto that one. We can actually address the gap, but it's not only that. We still will have standard applications. We're not here to replace with a low code solution our app or our apps from Word, Outlook, Excel, or our ERP applications. You still will have them. We're not here to replace all sorts of pro-code applications. They will still be there. But even if we have those items still in, there is going to be a zillion of other apps where we think low-code will actually be the preferred solution. So to actually make sure that we can easily create applications. That could be applications developed by citizens, but also to actually support pro-code developers in easy and quicker creation of user interfaces to actually get that one. So you get not only low-code teams, but also fusion teams to actually solve that issue for you onto that one. So that about the two mega trends that we see, and if we combine that one, we're actually gonna look into what we deliver as a low-code solution. If we look at the Microsoft Power Platform as a low-code solution, we do more than actually only the creation of apps, as you can see within Power Apps. We also deliver the way to actually do process automation with Power Automate, which will be at the start of the 7th of March, the other webinar we do. We give you the ability to actually visualize business data with Power BI. We deliver you the ability to actually create conversational AI with Copilot Studio, and we actually give you the ability not only to show apps internally, but to also create websites you can use externally with Power Pages. Those are the main components that the user can see. Then at the bottom, we got components to actually integrate into your landscape, to actually make sure that we can connect to all your systems of record through data connectors. Easy way to actually make sure that we hide the complexity of an API for the developer of an app, an automation, a Copilot or a page. Pretty quick, done. Also, we deliver already since 2019 the ability to also do AI on a low-code way. We deliver that one with AI Builder. We store the data that we got in Microsoft Dataverse, as probably Bas will show you at a later stage. We deliver the ability to actually use all the formulas you've learned for Excel also in the Power Platform. And if you haven't learned the formulas like I did, we deliver you the ability to work with them with AI, as we will show you later on. And we deliver managed environments to control the way you set up and work with your citizen developers to actually make sure that you, I would say, crowd control them, bring them together and bring them to the right pace and the right spot. That's something for probably a complete other webinar, how you can do governance into the Power Platform. This platform is there and we infused it basically with AI, and we're going to look at that AI piece from a Power Apps perspective. So this webinar is on Power Apps. We will have a webinar on Power Automate, and we will have a webinar on Copilot Studio, as we will show later on during this environment. Onto that one. If we look, we didn't start only with generative AI, which was only released in 2022. We already infused the normal artificial intelligence in 2019 with the AI Builder to actually make sure that we bring that one to the Power Platform, to actually make sure that you can use AI to do invoice detection, for instance, and to get information out of invoices so that you can automate, for instance, the booking of an invoice directly in your ERP system. And you can do that one with AI Builder rather easily. Also, we infused natural language to actually make sure that you don't have the need to actually learn all of the formulas, but you can actually do that one in natural language onto that one. Then in 22, we actually made the ability possible to create natural language to flow, which is basically the item for the next webinar. We started, and Bas will show it later on, with Power Apps into basically make sure that we can create an image that you, for instance, get from your UX designer, and bring that one and convert that one pretty easily into an app to actually speed up the process of building a minimal viable product onto that one. And then in 2023, right after the whole thing with ChatGPT, the whole revolution, we actually started to actually expand with a Copilot for makers. So basically, the theme of this webinar, how can I actually use natural language to create an app? That's what we're going to show, how you bring that one in. How you can use also a Copilot, so natural language, to actually redefine your app or redefine your data in Dataverse. And last but not least, how you can also, if you actually have created an application, use a Copilot inside your application to actually have a conversation over the data that you got in your app, so that you can request questions where the app maker didn't think of on that one and actually get that information. We will bring that to life basically with an example, and you saw the pieces already up front. I'm a fountain pen collector, so Bas is gonna bring to life a full blown application of my fountain pens and show information. I hope my wife isn't watching, because otherwise I get into trouble about the money I spent on my fountain pens onto that one. If we look onto the next, so the next webinars we're going to do are going to be on Power Automate, enhances natural language into a flow, and we're going to do a webinar on Copilot Studio to actually create conversational boosters onto that one. But let's cut the chase and actually get into the details on what we deliver as Copilots in Power Apps onto that one. So if we look at, like I stated, we have the ability to actually import data from Excel, to bring that one into the Dataverse, and we can then automatically generate already a user interface into that one. So we're going to actually upload an Excel file, bring that information in, make sure that it's stored in the database, and get that information in. we can create application UIs. So we can start with basically a drawing into that one. And if you do not have a UX designer, you could also use natural language to actually create your application UI so that you can actually adjust, shovel around with information on your interface into that one. And we bring AI into the app to actually ask the questions. And for those of you that are coming from a pro-code side of the house, we're going to integrate large language models, so generative AI, to actually make sure that we describe automatically the app and the solution. So you don't have to do the documentation anymore, you just have to check it afterwards. That's on the roadmap, that's not available today, but we'll get that one at a later stage. And I'm looking forward to it, because then we will start with proper documentation directly when you build it, which would actually make my life easier onto that one. Into that kind of thing. So, first thing is describe the app. As you can see there under the welcome Mona, you describe the app, you're going to get that information, and then it will build basically that thing. It's not only that we actually ask you to describe the app, and actually then we're going to build something. We also deliver then the Copilot, where you can say, oh no, that's not what I wanted. I want to actually adjust this field, or I want to adjust this data. All that information is in there, makes your life easy onto that one, as Bas will show in a minute. I'm putting a lot of pressure on you, Bas.
Yeah. It scares the head out of me, but
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. But let's see if you can fix that one into a couple of minutes. Then, the nice thing also, if you've worked with galleries and you want to find where that information is, what I need to type, what I need to do, how it should look like, etc., we deliver you the ability to actually make sure that you use ideas. So basically AI suggested information to actually update and upgrade your galleries. Nice and simple feature that will actually bring tons of value for you to that one. And that one is something Bas isn't going to show, so look at the video if you want to and actually study that one. Another one now, which is important, at least for me, is basically formula repair. When you start typing and you create a wrong formula, you actually have the ability to automatically repair that formula, so it will actually help you onto that one. So it will actually make sure that you do the today and you do that one with the proper brackets to make sure that it works. Specifically for people that are working with multiple programming languages, this might be extremely handy and easy to actually do. It's in preview, available today. To that one. And then last but not least, you can use AI Builder in your app, or you can actually bring in the Copilot into your app to actually make sure that you can do natural language conversations over your data onto that one. So those are the things we wanted to show you as specifically in this environment to actually help you. So we actually have a Copilot inside the app that you can use, and you can also integrate a Copilot that you create in Copilot Studio, on which we will have a webinar on the 15th of March, to actually make sure that you can integrate also that information into that one. And I think, Bas, you're going to show this one as well, eh?
For sure, at the end. Yeah.
Okay. And with that one, and with all due respect, so what we're going to show you is to actually create an image into an app, natural language into an app. We're going to do the Excel to create an app, and then do Copilot for end users onto that one. That's the scope for today. Then for the webinar on the 7th, we're going to look into Power Automate with natural language into Flow and actually format data by examples. And then the 15th of March, we're going to do Copilot Studio with generative answers and natural language to actually create a Copilot. And we're going to do generative actions onto that one. So I hope that I actually teased you enough to actually stay with Bas, and Bas is then going to demo the world to us.
Sure. Let me try that one. So heading into the demo section of the presentation, I would love to focus on the image and Figma to app creation part. So that's what I would love to show. Let me first go to the next slide. Oh, sorry. If you can share the slides for one more time. So I know, Anne, that you're a big fountain pen collector, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I thought. Maybe it's as a let's say, a late Valentine gift to you. Let me create a fountain.
Oh, I thought you were going to give me a fountain pen.
So what we will do, I actually drafted an image, how the app should look like. I saved it on my desktop, and from that image only, I will try to create an app for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me switch to my demo system here. So in my browser, I went into make.powerapps.com, and from the home page, I can actually see I can start with data, I can start with a page design, or I can start with a template. Well, for now, I have the design in mind. So I would love to start from an image in this matter. So it gives me a nice tutorial. Where do you want to start, from an image or a Figma, which is a mockup tool, very easy to use. So I want to start from the image, hit next. Let's give this a name, on a fountain pen collection app, and I can just simply upload my own image file, which I already have prepared on my desktop, of course. I want to have it in the tablet format, so big screen. And then AI will actually look at the image that I provided before, and actually starts to do some initial tagging right up front. So he found out that there's a Mont Blanc collection app, and that's probably a text label, which is kind of correct, I would say. We also see that on the left-hand side, there's a collection list box, which actually allows, a list box allows me to select multiple items at the same time, which is not really the case for this matter. So I would rather go for a drop-down where I can just select one of the options available. I also see the purchase date is now tagged as a button, which is apparently not what we would like it to be. And then we have the save, which is indeed rightly tagged as a button. So let's stay with that. I just simply hit next. Then I'm presented with the option to create it or connect it to an existing Dataverse table, if I already have the data in the Dataverse. For now, I'll just go and skip for that option, and I just want to create an app. Now AI is actually taking that into account. So we have the page, the image, we have the tagging. So this is a button, this is a text, this is a date picker. And from that information, AI will actually generate that app for me. So not even a single line of code, not even the Excel-like formulas was needed. And from now on, I have this working app. So if I play this one, I can see I have this drop down and I can select one of the options available, and I have this date picker all out of the box available to me. So it's really simple from creating an app from an image and actually have it a working prototype for that matter.
So that's a working prototype in, what is it, 2 minutes?
Yeah, because I'm not that quick on the machine, but for sure. And as you can see, always at the right-hand side, we have Copilot available. So if I want to add another button to my app, for example, I can just ask Copilot to do that for me, and it will actually, rather than me going into the menu structure, finding the right element, it will actually add a button, and I can actually change the color or change the label or anything like that, not using any single line of code. How do you feel about that?
Oh, that's cool.
That's kind of neat, huh?
Yeah, but I think I already got the data into an Excel.
That's also an option. But I think if we switch back to the slides for a sec, let's keep that in mind, Anne, okay, because I think we have an option to do that as well. But first, let me go to the Copilot by using just plain English to build an app for you. Okay. So what we will do, we will just describe what we want to achieve and have Copilot actually create that app for me.
Okay.
Cool. So switching back to my demo machine again, still on the make.powerapps.com website, I'm presented with this homepage. And on the left-hand side, we see the menu items, and in the mid-section, we see let's build an app. What should it do? I can actually just explain what I want, right? Just in English. Create an app for my Mont Blanc foundation pen collection, because Mont Blanc is your favorite.
I only got Mont Blancs, Bas. You got to limit yourself to something.
Okay, well, if that's your guilty pleasure, let's go with that.
It's my expensive pleasure, but...
Don't tell your wife. All right, so I just, in plain English, I described what I wanted to do. I want to create a Mont Blanc foundation pen collection app, and from the Copilot, it actually reasoned over that sentence and created some backing table, because every app should also have a data store. So it actually gives me a data model suggestion where I have a column for pen ID, I have a model, and it actually took the actual data from the Mont Blanc website or knowledge base.
I can recognize them, Bas.
Who doesn't know the Meisterstuk, right? That's,
the Meisterstuk, so that's the one actually.
That's the one you need, right?
Yeah.
We have a color, a nib size, material, and so on, and also a price column over there. So this is actually, Copilot suggested me the data table, the data store, and from here I can actually say, can you please add a column, add with double D, a column for a year of purchase, for example. Let me see, I want to track that as well. Just ask the Copilot, and you have to be very friendly, otherwise it doesn't do. And then it says, yes, the Mont Blanc Foundation pen collection table has been updated. And if we now scroll to the right-hand side, you see year of purchase has now been added as well to the table.
Yep.
And what I forgot to mention, it is also classifying each column, of course. So for the currency, for the price, it was tagged as a currency column. The nib size was actually tagged as a choice, and so on. So it not only built the table, it actually got the data formats right, and it also created some sample data. So now we have 5 of these fountain pens in our table. Just before we go and look at our app, let me just add some more sample data.
Let's see with which editions he comes up.
Fingers crossed for the Meisterstuk. Ah, there we go. And now we have some more elements some more rows in our table. And again, Meisterstuk le Petit Prince Solitaire, who doesn't know this one, was added to our data set. Well, let's create an app. So again, Copilot actually do all the heavy lifting for us. It created the table, suggested the table, we made some changes to it, we added some rows to it, and now Copilot will actually create this Canvas app for us without any line of code issued to the system. We'll give it a sec to load, and again represented with the Canvas Maker UI, and on the right hand side we see Copilot popping up in a sec, which constantly assists me through the whole journey of creating an app, modifying an app, and so on. It's actually my companion during the day. And there we go. Let's see. And now it creates the app. We can play it. We can try it out. Let me just save this one. And here you can see it's a working app. We can add new records to it. Nib size, material, price, model, pen, year of purchase, the thing that we just added, and color. It's all there. And it's just a working app. All in a few seconds. What we also can do, of course, is we can, as we did before, add another button, add a gallery, add a text label, all using natural language. So there's no need to drag and drop any boxes, find menu items. You can just ask Copilot and it will do the same as you would normally do yourself using the menu structures. And there we go. Also, it always gives you the remark, sure, this is what we have done. We added the label, and in this I don't want to do that, so I can just simply undo that one, and it's gone again, of course. Kind of neat.
That's neat, yeah, it's really cool.
Really cool?
Yeah.
But still you want to do this with the Excel file?
Well, because I don't see any data currently, so I would love to actually have my real data. That would save me a lot of time.
Sure, let me go with that. Don't save this one. Now let's bring back the slides here. There we go. So returning to the slides, let me click through this one. Let's try the Excel data import, because you already had a list prepared in Excel data. With your favorite pens or the pens that you actually got?
They're not all of it. So I gotta make a confession. There's some I left out,
okay.
But most of them are in there.
You are scared your wife is watching.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm still scared my wife is watching.
Okay, Excel data import. As you said, you already prepared the Excel list in advance, and now just take that Excel and generate an app from that data without using any code whatsoever.
Yeah, that will be cool.
Well, let me switch back to my demo machine here. Again, we're in make.powerapps.com, and I'm presented with the home page. And this time, don't let me start with page design, let me start with some data. So I click Start with Data, and I can say, well, just simply upload it from an Excel file. So Let me pick that from my device. This is the table you prepared.
Well, it's not the table I prepared. It's the table I have already for actually my insurance for those people.
So you keep track of that using an Excel file?
Yeah, I currently keep track of that using an Excel file.
You should be, from now on, you will be using your app, right?
I will be using my app, yes.
All right, cool. So from the Excel file, it took all the columns in the Excel. So we have an ID column, a name, an edition, a year, a number, and so on. And it just simply hit create an app. And now it actually generates the table in Dataverse for me with the exact same columns, but it will also add all the data that you had prepared before in Excel. So from now on, there's no need to open Excel and update it anymore. You can run this on your app, on your mobile device. And every day when you buy a new fountain pen for a crazy amount of money, you can just add it simply.
Okay, that's cool.
That's kind of cool, huh?
That would be neat.
Well, give it a sec to load. Again, we see the Canvas Maker UI running. And here we go. We see the writers edition. I think the table itself on the left-hand side, so this collection, we can do a little bit better.
Yeah, because I want to see the name.
You want to change this one, right?
Yeah.
Let me go to the gallery here. So what would you like to see on the left-hand side?
First the name.
First the name. So that will be the title then, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Then as a subtitle, what would you like to see? Edition. And then as the body?
The year on when it came out.
Year it came out.
Yeah, it's jaar, I think.
Year, there we go.
Yeah.
Cool. And as you see, by just selecting the fields, it actually immediately updated this left-hand column. Let me just close this one. Yeah, so now we have Hemingway in the writer's edition and the year of purchase.
No, it was
or year of creation.
Year of creation. The year that Mont Blanc released it, 1992.
Who doesn't remember the date? Cool. So that's kind of cool. And again, we still have Copilot on the right-hand side assisting us. We can add new screens, we add buttons, and so on. Anything else that we would love to show you? Maybe just to show you now, it's more like, say, in a desktop mode. So it's a big wide screen with a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
Let me show you how this would look like on a, I don't know, on an iPhone or something. I'm not too great with that. And as you can see, now it just shows me this left side table, this gallery items, without the details. Because Power Apps is smart enough to see, hey, we don't have that much space available. So let me first show you the, let's say, the header table. And then if you select one of the items, so in this case, I'm going for the Hemingway.
Yeah.
Then it shows me actually all the details.
Oh, cool.
But if I switch to a bigger screen size, then of course it shows me both in a single view, and I can just click through it.
So it directly integrates containers to actually make sure that we get a responsive application.
Correct. So
cool.
One person loves to use it on the tablet with a big screener. The other one uses it on the cell phone, a small screen. You don't need to worry about that one as a maker of the app.
That's cool.
Nice, huh?
Yeah.
Really nice. Anything else you would love to do or see? Or should we go on with the...
Well, this is nice, and I can easily do that one, but my wife has a question. Of course, she's watching this webinar, unfortunately.
I know.
So she raised the question on, can you actually track with this one the average price?
The average price of a pen.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Let's try that one. I actually built already a nice fountain pen collection app for you in advance.
Cool. And you got my picture, I see.
I did some research and I found a picture from the future, to be honest.
Okay.
This you in next 30 days.
Okay. So then I need to lose some weight, Bas.
No, I think you're doing great. So. Cool. So on the right-hand side, you see that we created an app using the same sort of data we already used before. All the Mont Blanc fountain pens. There's a huge list. There's a nice image. But you can also see on the left-hand side, we now have Copilot assisting the users of an app by actually allowing them a place to reason over, to actually have a discussion on the data that's inside the app.
Okay.
So let me just try out how many pens exist in the writer's collection.
Okay.
And Copilot will now actually look at the data. So first it translates the English text into a query. which you will fire off to the database. You will get a response, and that response will be put back into English to make more sense. So there are 7 pens in the edition writers.
Okay.
Your wife thought there were only 3.
Oh, that's a dangerous one, Bas.
Not sure.
Well, Mont Blanc delivered 30, so I'm on the safe side.
You're still on the safe side. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let me go back to the slides and leave my demo machine for now. So back on the slides, we see we did the Excel file upload. Let me click through that one. We did show you the Copilot control for end users.
Yeah.
So the Copilot is not only assisting the makers, building an app, creating an app, tweaking an app, updating an app, but also the end users can now benefit from Copilot. I think that's pretty much what we wanted to show for today, right?
Yes, that's pretty much what we wanted to show on that one.
Okay, so with that, I would love to highlight that we have upcoming webinars showing Copilot in Power Automate.
Yeah.
So describe your flows and let Copilot build it for you. And we do the similar thing for Copilot Studio as well. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Cool. Let me skip through these ones. And I think here we have the actual dates where these webinars are about to launch. So with that, should we go to the final section of this presentation?
So to the questions and answers, see if people have got questions. So I got one question for you, Bas.
Sure. Go ahead.
That's basically, we did everything in English. And I think we are Microsoft NL. Is the app creation also available in Dutch?
Well, first, thank you for your saying that I spoke actually English.
Yeah.
I'm still worried about that one. But yeah, we actually can use Copilot in the Dutch language as well to create an app. So if you just describe your app in Dutch, saying maak een voetbalcollectie app voor mij, then it will actually create that app as well.
Cool. Onto that one. And is all of the stuff available today already, or?
Most of the stuff is actually generally available today as we speak. Some of these features are still in public preview, but we are expected to be launching them in GA or generally availability in the next 6 months.
Okay.
So,
Onto that one. Then it's a question I do not understand completely, so I see, Bas, if you actually understand it directly. Can you also make this a publicly embeddable app?
Like publicly available, let's say outside of your, let's say, users in of your company?
Yeah.
No, actually, I think Power Apps is more or less aimed at users are within the same tenant, or guest users from your tenant. If you really want to create an app or a portal, I would say, or a page addressing externals like stakeholders, like customers, suppliers, I would recommend to go with a Power Page for that one.
Okay.
You can still make use, of course, of the same data in Dataverse, but that's actually geared to external users, if that makes sense.
Okay. And then, but that one is then for March 15th, Wilco. We can do Copilots, so you can actually use Copilots as external. Sure. And external on the website.
Yeah, so if you create an intelligent chatbot and expose that one to external users, that's also one of the options for sure.
Okay, and then we are techies, but we get the question again. How about licensing? So if I use the Copilot inside an app, what kind of licensing do I need?
It's all included with the Power Apps Premium, I guess.
Yeah. So Copilot. So the Copilot for the users requires a premium licenses. Mm-hmm. The Copilot for makers is available inside the license as well. Onto that one.
Good questions, by the way.
Yeah. And then the question on, but that one is already answered. The question on actually, are we sharing the presentation afterwards? Yes, and this one is recorded. So if it goes too quick, or you fell asleep during the PowerPoint and you all of a sudden woke up in the demo, then you still can play it back afterwards. Sure. Yes, we will share the dates with you on the other webinars. They're still on the screen if you want to. And the tech briefings is a direct link to the registration page for those webinars. And with that one, I would like to thank you for your attention. Thank you for your hard work, Bas. And I hope to see, or Bas hopes to see you on the Power Automate webinar. And I will be there back on the Copilot Studio webinar.
Cool.
That one.
And thank you, Anne.
No problem.
Also bringing your pens, really nice. Yeah. All right. See you soon, guys. Thank you so much.